Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. Giant Slayer's Spy Crush on Rival Esports is live yet again. We're jumping into match number 2 of this best of 3 series here between C9 and Soniqs. So don't forget to vote for your favorite team in the chat. Who do you think is going to win? That's going to be exclamation point C9 for the Cloud9 boys. And if you're thinking about the Soniqs, it's exclamation point SQ. And of course, if you'd like to join us for any future Valorant fun, don't forget to hit that follow button at the top of the stream. It's all about fun here at Rival Esports, and where we bring it here more regularly for you in the Valorant world. Now, jumping into the pregame discussion for map number 2, we'll be playing on Haven after a very close matchup, C9 taking advantage here in map number 1. So looking at this one, I'll start here with Jay, and then we'll move forward here. We saw several pivotal plays and moments in game number 1. Any players that truly stood out and people we need to be watching and keeping an eye on as this match plays out in Haven?
I mean, is that even a question? It's squishy. Just to go back to the comparison point I made just after the game with Fickle, I mentioned that, the 30 bomb is so elusive in CS because you have 30 rounds in a single game. The fact that you 30 bombed in a game that has 24 rounds during a regulation series, that's impressive. That's something else from Squishy. And again, you think about all the sequences that he had with 4Ks round after round, the great defensive on the A site. And of course, not always quite as prominent on the offensive half, but the fact that he was still able to hold his own and still do some decent damage just really highlights how versatile he is and how talented at this game Squishy can really be. That is something, that's a talent. That is a real big talent right there, and it's probably going to be the main reason why I think Cloud9 might just 2-0 this series if they can get their team play in order.
It's bold calls here. Fickle?
I was going to actually point out Shock, who was actually the player on the Sonic side that was top ranking for his team. He had a lot of clutch moments that he could have turned into favor for Soniqs. The one that comes to mind is the 1v2 situation where he ran all the way from the B site to the A site to the back of the alley spawn and then was able to plant it, but he didn't get the final pick. And of course, guess who the person who clutched it against him? It was Squishy. So I think it's going to be Shock versus Squishy coming into this next map.
Yeah, both top fragging for their teams respectively, both carrying the torches in terms of managing a lot of the retake situations. I also would really like, I'd point out a couple others, of course. Chicago, consistent op plays, definitely something to watch out for. And then I thought Moopy played consistently when it came back to some of the retakes when they were playing on defense. So there's certainly a lot of talent to keep an eye on here as we get into this next match. So then, as we looked at the team compositions, right, fairly even across the board. There were a couple discrepancies between agent selections, of course. But any changes to team composition that you would like to see for either of these teams? At Fickle, anything on Soniqs?
Let's see here. Cypher, Breach, Brimstone, Reyna, Sage looks pretty standard. There's no raise on that side, but they kind of traded it out for the Reyna for the entry. So that's a pretty meta comp. As long as you have Sage, Breach, and Cypher, those are the 3 agents you really look for. Brimstone's kind of a flare with smokes, but probably the best for that situation. And then Reyna a raise. And then on the other side, it's Raze, Reyna, Cypher, and Sage. So they have the Sage Cypher kind of mixed there. They swapped out the Sova for a Breach, which if Squishy's good on playing Sova, I think Sova's a great character, but not easy to learn. Sure. And then, of course, they have the Reyna as well. So, both comps are pretty good. I don't really know much you could add there because you didn't really see a lot of Jets or Omens, who I think are a little bit lower on the agent listings. And it seems pretty meta all around. So I think the comps are fine.
Makes sense to me. What about you, Jay? Any thoughts?
I'm going to sort of err on the side of agreement. I mean, it's very difficult to say, hey, we should change this composition, we should change this particular agent around, because obviously in this kind of a game, you can be in a position where you are sort of specialist to one particular agent. And certainly I think a lot of teams in the professional circuit were built around that sort of concept. So, I mean, I could pick apart little things. I don't think the Reyna was properly used on Fireburner, for example. Either that or Dino, I'm not 100% certain who in particular, but I remember Reyna's just not being utilized in their own right. But as Fickle said, sort of the general sort of Raze, Sage, Brimstone combination, or sort of the duos of that particular trio are sort of in place on both compositions. So, if there is a change, then we'll be sure to point it out. Because for me, I think that the composition was solid enough to the point where, Cloud9 were able to utilize their firepower, and Soniqs were able to respond with their team play to keep it down to a 13-11 score. So, for me, I don't want to change anything too drastic. Maybe one change on the Reyna would be the only thing I'd suggest. Who, though, it depends on the player. It depends on how they want to approach the game. And again, for me, I'm erring on the side of caution. And again, to agree with Fickle, I don't really want to see any major changes going into Haven.
Sure. And the Reyna pick, that can be substituted for something with a little bit more utility. There's certainly some options there, but it did seem like that they do fit well into the composition. So overall, both these teams, will be curious to see if they do make any trade outs. One thing to consider, of course, is as we move into match number 2, the teams will be swapping out their defensive versus attack sides, meaning, we came into the first match here with Soniqs on attack. They'll now be playing on defense here coming into Haven. So with that said, there could be some shifts and changes based on how they want to play the first half of the game, where they can hopefully get some kind of advantage. So we'll hopefully see a little bit of that coming into the match. Again, if you're just joining us here, welcome to Giant Slayer Spike Rush on Rival Esports. The players here are playing in a semi-final match, and this match will guide them into the grand finals played on Giant Slayer stream, which they will be eligible for a $1,000 prize pool. Gentlemen, how many skins can $1,000 buy? I think at least 2. Right, I'm not positive, but I think at least 2, maybe 3.
See, it depends what kind of skins you're talking about, really. How far up the food chain are we talking here, I think?
We're going all the way to the top here, Jay. Thanks for asking. We're taking this conspiracy all the way to the top of the board. It's $1,000 on the line for these teams battling it out. First place will take 700, second place followed with 300. If my math is correct, that should be 1,000. Again, don't test me. I don't want to know. And then, of course, if this match goes to a victory score here for Soniqs, we will actually jump into a match number 3, which will be played on Bind. So that's an interesting choice here as we get into this one. No one picked Ascent, which I thought was interesting. Fickle, I know it's a fairly new map, but as we look at the map pools, as you come into an unknown, do you add more unknowns? Do you want to keep maps that you know and are much more comfortable with?
I feel like if you knew you were at disadvantage as far as like pure gunplay, you might throw Ascent in there as sort of a trying to throw off the opponent situation, but I don't think anybody is comfortable on Ascent right now, as it's only been a week into launch. I know that I'm still working on lineups for it, so I am not that comfortable on it yet, as I have played so many more matches on the other 3 maps that have been in the beta. So Ascent's probably a hot topic right now. I wouldn't touch it if I was picking maps personally.
Yeah, it does make sense to probably hold on that until you know a little bit more about your opponent, or at least know a little bit more about the map, one or the other. But you can't have nothing. Thinking through as we get into Haven, there's certainly a couple things to consider. This is a very different map in terms of the dynamics compared to Split. Jay, looking at this one, what are the things that attackers need to think about as they're coming into the first half of this match?
Find the one position where it's not being covered off, because there will be one on a 3-bomb site map, and exploit it to the best of your abilities. The reason why we have two bomb sites, usually in FPS design, when you have something like, again, going back to CSGO, the reason why it's always 2 bomb sites is because you can split sort of 2 players per site and play 1 player down the middle, assuming there's a mid position in general. If not, then you have that 3rd player to back up a slightly bigger bomb site, so they can cover off, most of the map is pretty easily defended, so it's going to be balanced in that case. On Haven, it's 3 bomb sites, so there's going to be some sort of gap in the defense, and there are sort of workarounds that you can use if you have the right agent and the right ability, but all in all, there's always going to be one position where if you charge down and if you could find the pick there, then you can just run straight in and get around on your board.
Well, 3 bomb sites, 2 teams, 1 victor. We're jumping into Haven now for map number 2. Fickle, take us into the action.
Thank you so much, Unthink, and make sure to check out the other broadcasts going on the Giant Slayer TV stream as well to see the NRG matchup as well. I see it's getting pretty spicy over there. NRG seems to be doing pretty well against their opponent, so I would expect to see them against the winner of this matchup right now. But let's talk about the matchup we have going into this. It's still C9 and Soniqs. C9 with a 1-0 map win on Split, 13-11 if you're just joining us. If you want to go down the rosters, we have on C9, Squishy, Gimmick, Fireburner, and then some substitutes, Chicago and AJ. And then on the Soniqs roster, we have Dapper Shock, Spuda, Dino, and Moopy. If you're just joining us.
Yeah, so a lot of these are lineups you mentioned. They have their own sort of like individual sort of picks and who we expect to see out of the agents. So I think going into this second map, I'm kind of curious to see who we'll see at the helm and who will have decided on a different agent, I should say, for this map up. So I think, as you mentioned earlier, a lot of these should sort of stay within sort of the context of within sort of the context of these teams. But you know, again, we have to wait and see how well they will contest, and if they do make those changes overall. Obviously, we've mentioned that this can be very exploitable on the attacking side, and that favors Cloud9 more than anything else here. So again, I'm sort of sticking with my Cloud9 2-0 prediction. I think that if they can just get a good start on the offensive half, and as I think mentioned, they will be on the offensive start. So you know, this first half could be the decider for Cloud9 if they hold their own.
And I'm fangirling over Squishy Sova right now as my personal favorite agent. I think that Haven is one of Sova's best maps because there's some really messed up wallbang spots that you can take advantage of if you know the right angles. For instance, you can wallbang down into A short sewers from the B bomb site if you get up on top of the boxes on the left-hand side. And then there's also the garage doors, very Dust 2-esque with the kind of split doors, one-way opening sort of situations where you can spray through into garage. So there's lots of wallbang opportunities for Sova to take advantage of, and I think we're going to see that coming through if he picks Sova again. You know, we haven't seen the agents so far, but I'm excited to get into it.
He also played Hunter's Fury as well pretty well with his Sova pick. So, you know, to use that sort of ability to its own advantage would be a great opportunity, I feel like, for Cloud9 just to run wild over it, you know, again, with the wallbang potential, obviously with the X-ray through the wall that you can use and really put the damage and the heart on and the information gain. You know, Squishy was using that so well. It wasn't always the most prominent thing in the world, but it certainly he certainly used it well when he got the chance. Now, I remember at least 2 kills on an A-site defensive where he was able to utilize Hunter's Fury, and every single other time it felt like he just knew where those guys were. He got the information out. His teammates gathered around him, and they all in all just utilized the information very well. So yeah, Squishy Sova, I'm a big fan as well.
And let's talk a little bit about the other opposite side as well. It was Shock on Breach, who was really trying to carry his team. And I think that Breach is definitely one of the best agents, I would think, like right behind Sage. Everything in his kit is pretty useful. The only thing that's not as useful is the damaging ability that goes through walls, but it's still okay for flushing out opponents if they're holding really close angles. So there's lots of utility to be used there. We haven't seen the agents list up just yet. We should be getting into that very shortly. We saw C9 take down Soniqs 13-11 on my left side over there on the display, 13-11 on split. So we're just waiting to get into it in just a second, guys. This is some Rocket League pros and coaches playing up against each other in Valorant just for funsies. There is a $1,000 prize pool, but we're in conjunction with Juked and Giant Slayer, who are having the other match on the other stream of Giant Slayer TV. The picks are happening right now as we speak, as I'm being told by the producer, so it should be probably around 45 seconds more here. So we're trying to get into it as soon as we can, guys. So just be patient with us, please.
While we do be patient, I guess we can talk a little bit more about the last sort of like alliance that we had, because I was a really big fan of Sputter's Brimstone. A really effective use of his smokes and effective use of the orbital strike as well. Several positions where he forced players out into an awkward sort of angle and was able to not use it as like a direct damage dealer all the time, but certainly in the choke points and where they were playing from, he was able to you know, scatter the offensive side and do some damage to Cloud9, not directly but indirectly. And his smokes always in the early round able to just try and stop them from getting for the early rushes, and as well as like the mid-round smokes and everything. Like it worked pretty well for that Brimstone side. So again, you know, just to feed into that point we were mentioning earlier about, hey, let's not see any major sort of lineup changes and any sort of major agent changes from the Soniqs roster, because again, it's all down to those little elements that sort of contribute to their team play, and team play is going to be very important on this kind of a map. You know, you're going to need to try and bolster around the weak points and try and shut down Cloud9, because you're not going to win a fight on them with just sheer firepower, it seems.
And Ryan, we talked about the utility on Haven, and here we see the map itself. It's a very different stone's throw away from typical FPSs. You have 3 bomb sites, A, B, and C. Kind of a weird thing to put in your mouth as you play FPSs. On the C site, kind of a tongue twister there. But they are quite equally spaced out from one another, and they're hard to rotate through, especially if you're playing on defense. It's quite a long way from A to C. So splitting up mid and being able to split the bomb site that direction is absolutely pivotal in this map. And it's slightly attacker favored in my opinion because of all the access to the bomb sites.
From a bird's eye glance, I'm not seeing any changes to these lineups' compositions. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so that means we'll be sticking with the same sort, agents, and we'll have the same sort of positions and roughly the same sort of roles in between these two sides. Should be noted, by the way, that Cloud9 are on the attacking half, so hopefully we'll get that score bug updated in a moment's time. We're getting quickly into the pistol round for the moment here. It's the Soniqs on the defensive half, and already mid-face is coming through. They will put out a barrier all immediately, but also look for information. AJ going around this corner. I'm not sure what got that info, but they know that there's a player close range on the A site, and he's going to get backed up here. That camera's going to start to see players. A couple of spy cam darts being able to track them off. The cyber cage comes up, stalls Soniqs for a moment's time here. Cloud9 will be forced back initially.
What a grenade there, just catching Chicago right outside of the exit to sewers there, and they are poised in position to stop this A plant, and they pretty much know that they're not going to get into it. Here comes the rotation from the defensive side back over the B site, but actually they got faked out because they actually are going to push up through A, so they moved over to B, and now it comes into the A site. AJ's going to bring the bomb right on the site, get the plant down.
But there's so much information being gained so quickly. The Soniqs are in position to hold off on their own, but still Gimmick gets the kill on Moopy. Shot tapping his way on. We'll see the main entrance get shut down. There's only 2 players left for the defensive half as the Soniqs do gain one, I should say. Squishy going to go falling a fireburner there to get the trade. Gimmick will close out with a knife kill on Shock. That's not a good sign. And that will be Cloud9 getting their opener of this matchup. So brilliant pistol to hold their own. Decent stalling there from the Sonic squad, but all in all, just doing the right work out.
Echoes of Simple, if I might try to add some extra confidence going into round number 2 with the knife kill to boot. An absolute dagger, literal and metaphorical, into the heart of the confidence of the defending side. So I don't really know how you recover from that. That's kind of a embarrassing situation. So, going into round number 2, as the attacking side got round number 1, and that it actually is C9. We're going to fix the graphics here for just a second, guys. There's actually C9 on attack.
Splitter will open things up for his side, getting Squishy down, and a hell of a player to take out this early on into the round. It'll actually double up. AJ next to fall. Gimmick's going to try and work into the B site for the moment, just looking towards the left and right side entrances, but unable to find any kills, unable to find any agents at this moment in time. Fireburner finally gets a trade back, but Dapper in with his responses. These pistols are working well. The rifle's being picked up. Gimmick's on for another. And Dino will be able to double up of his own right. A brilliant return back from the Sonic squad as they do equalize against Cloud9. A very unexpected eco victory coming in for the defensive half.
That's a statement there from Dino. I'm not exactly sure if he bought that Phantom or stole it off of another player, but typically you don't see rifles in round 2, so it's very surprising. He actually got a 2K with the Phantom. I would have to watch it again to see if he bought that or picked it up off a member of C9. But regardless, that was the deciding factor in that round. So a 1-1 score line here to start it off. So even out the gates already from these 2 evenly matched teams.
Oh, Squishy tagged up initially as it looks like the offensive side will get shut down by these automatics. Dino opening things up in the mid position, getting himself a triple kill and continuing to press up to window. Got players around there bursting through. The grenades will go out and we'll try and force him back to passive position, but in the end he will get the damage on. Shock will get Squishy. His Gimmick does trade back at least for 1. Shock going to press up further forward. His back is turned to the spike area. If he gets this control, then should be good enough. But Splitter just gets that final kill in the end, so the defense will just be able to hold their second and a lead above Cloud9 once again. 2-1 on the defensive board. The buy should come back in for the C9 squad, though. The rifles out as plenty.
All right, 2 rifles coming in. Squishy's been a little quiet here. It's actually been Dino season as he's picking up 2Ks, two rounds in a row on the Phantom, basically just waltzing out the garage door into B window, taking out a couple, using that dismiss actually to gain a lot of ground into the opening and get a little bit of cover. I like that play a lot. Yeah. Dino seems to be using dismiss a lot better than I think Fire is on the Reyna, so I would look out for him to be making the plays.
Much more passive from Cloud9 in his early defaults. I say that, and here Squishy moves up. Aggressive on A short as a player directly to his left-hand side, and this could be the engagement that opens things up. Squishy gonna check it. He just turns back to the headshot. Was gonna go a bit quick on the check, but now looking for info on the site. Shock should be spotted out. Now he's known to the recon bolt, and now gonna get caught in the cyber cage. Trying to flash his way out and stall for time, get some backup in check, but can just fall back to the corner. Movie gets the kill in mid. Shock takes out Chicago as you expect him to still be there. The Boomer bot is also gonna go falling of his own right. And it is a 4-on-3 situation. The Soniqs defensive holding much better against Cloud9's rifles.
Yeah, Squishy tried to entry, but it was a nice stall there from Shock. That was pretty much the matchup we're looking here. And it seems like Loopy and Buddha go down on the A site, but the bomb is actually gesturing into mid, and Gimmick has it and is kind of smelling that there's B and A, so he's just going to split C, and this is exactly the kind of freedom we're talking about with this Haven map. And it seems like maybe Dino's got a whiff of this going to C. He's going to come around C-Link into the spawn side, and he might just catch a Gimmick waiting, looking towards garage. He's going to look in the back there. He spots Reyna on the backside. Tits taken out with a one-tap through the wall, nonetheless, and he's going to get the plant down. Shock is all the way over on the A side, has to come through. 1v2 situation, but he's got a lot of work to do.
Well, if he's got enough on the ability base either. Only 2 pieces to use. We'll move up, try find something out of the main entrance. We'll tap through, put a molly back to the back lines, but instant eyes come out. Get some damage, but not much else against the Cloud9 side. The burst through, and Gimmick should shut him down as easy as that. So Cloud9 will have themselves a nice second to once again re-up and get to evens on the standings board here. And that might throw the economy game a little bit off for the Sonic side. I actually say that, and they're going to get double op out here. Rifles should also follow suit. Actually, there's a lot more money than I expected, actually, so maybe my economy read was just not quite as good here on this game as it is in CS. But alas, the rifles will be out for everybody, and Cloud9 might actually have the more weakened economy by comparison.
Yeah, double op setup actually is more common in Haven because they have C long and the B window, 2 spots that you really want to watch, and here's Shock looking down A long. Oh, spot somebody running into sewers, doesn't pull the trigger, but Mookie actually gets one in the B window. That's going to be Chicago down. She actually takes out a shot on the off. An offense, Squishy's hands if he chooses to pick it up, but he's just going to need Scott for some information on the A site. Hits the tripwire. So they know he's there. At least Moopy does. He's going to confront this 1v2 situation with the op. He doesn't really have to peek this aggressively. This could be a post-plant play there. They have the player's advantage, so they're going to let it come down.
It does force them back for a moment. Squishy does go down, though, so it's all going to be left to the Rays. A lot of work to be done here in a 1-on-2 situation. The spike plant has come through. Where's the passive position? It's going to be pressing in from main. It's going to be a smoke out as well, trying to deny anything. Gimmic's going to get ahead of it. 2 players line up. Spray on the first and gets the second. 3 kills for Gimmick and a brilliant third for Cloud9. What a clutch.
That was big brain positioning from Gimmick. Instead of walking behind the cubby on A long, he actually just scooted really close to that near wall as the just hiding out from the smoke. They assumed he was going to be smoked off from that brim, but he just walked forward as they tried to defuse the bomb and just took out both of them. Standing with their pants down, they were looking on the far side and they had no idea he was on the near side, so just really nice clutch there from Gimmick.
Cloud9. Major advantages that could throw things out a little bit here for the Sonic squad. A bit of an investment, but coming out with rifles in this one. Dino opening things up with a kill on Gimmick, and a kind of aggression that does work out well for them. Stalling them out of the mid position one more time here. Sonics are not going to go much further here. Just the standard flashes, standard blasts come out. Standard barrier orbs and everything going to hold on to a little bit. Squishy does get a trade in the end. AJ does force the kill on Shock next. Holding out. Here comes a trade, and all in all, Cloud9 do win out the advantage. Dapper left alone. Gets himself a double kill. This could still work out for him. A 1 versus 1. The cyber cage goes up. He tries to deny anything on the spike plant position. It's all a 1v1 now. Moving in very different positions in the map here, but seems like it may just come down to the side entrance.
Holding the op in this situation is, yeah, I would definitely pick up that rifle as well, especially if you're in this one. Actually, Cypher, I don't think there's any shot on, but did he see the top of his head? I don't know if Dapper did. Dapper playing the back of the bomb site. Gonna peek on his camera. a little bit more. Oh, he definitely sees the brim of the hat. Yep, he's going to try to tag him there. He definitely knows he's there. He saw the camera, picks up the spikes. At 20 seconds, definitely could this to A or C if he decides to, but he's going to walk right in. Dapper's actually looking the wrong direction. He's hiding right behind. Look what? Oh, yes, he does. Dapper gets taken down. Chicago on the clutch and the spike as well for the economy. Nice job, Chicago.
Nicely done there on that clutch position. Could have gone one or two different ways. It all came down to timing in that 1v1. In the end, it is Cloud9 with the overall victory here, as Gimmick has taken the top frag position here. 8 frags in just 6 rounds. And Squishy a bit too far behind him, and 5 frags to his name. Certainly the MVP of that last game. I wonder if his teammate may just go ahead and overtake him in this context. But we've got to find out in round number 7. Cloud9 going quickly into that mid position. I think they suspect the buy may be a little bit low against the Soniqs side. Going to try and rush them out with just sheer firepower. Seeing Squishy look for some information. He's got the drone out. Checking that mid position, hoping to catch somebody in window. We'll see one. We'll bait out that AWP shot. So now he knows that there's some contact and a little bit of weaponry for the Soniqs to work with.
Using the Al drone into garage is one of my favorite plays as Sova, because if you do tag somebody in there, you're walling through the doors. So it seems like that's what they were trying to work for there. And another judge kill for Spuda as he's hanging out right outside of garage. Takes down Squishy as he tries to enter onto the C site. Here's Dino holding with the Sheriff. Oh, he's going to get taken out actually for all the way from the spawn. They have pushed really deep into that site. Now it's going to be Spuda left alone. He's pinched by about 4 different players. Oh, shot coming in the backside. One taps AJ through the wall. Spike goes down onto B site. 2v3 situation, but it's pistols versus rifles, and I don't see Soniqs coming back into this.
Spuda does get us a rifle to work with. He is low. It's the key thing to remember from here is obviously the duels can go better for Cloud9. He's going to try and stop as much as they can as they burst in now. Shot got to do the heavy lifting, and Firebird is just going to shut him out immediately from this entrance. It all leaves it to Spuda. What a turnaround from Fire. 3 kills to his name, and that will leave the attacking force at a 3-round lead now. Cloud9. I mean, admittedly, it is a bit of a a confident situation in that 1v in that 180, just due to the fact that it was so low HP.
Fire with the turn. I mean, he was overhealed, but with the turn? Fire. That was disgusting. C9 take their 5th on attacking side. As we see the Soniqs try to recover, they've got a buy here now. That was honestly a pretty decent eco for them. They had shorties and sheriffs. So now they get the rifles back in. Squishy is just so aggressive in this mid site. He's already up to the ears. Pretty much. Oh, gonna scout it out with the recon dart. And the Cypher information to work with. So we know somebody's there. Double spotted out is the Sage on the backside, but gets taken out for his aggression. 4v4, couple of picks coming out. Gonna work a little slow here.
Nice pick to kick things off. Spray in from Dino, catches Chicago next on the A site. They will try and respond to something, but AJ gets shocked next, but 3-on-3, making it 2 as he triples up, and Cloud9 have site control. They have to rotate that spike in, and actually they're just going to bait it entirely. They'll leave one player back as Fire and Co push in. They'll revive Chicago as well, so got even more support here to hold off and ensure that they stay on A. Moopy will get shocked back into play as well for the Sonic side, but a lot of work to be done. They're not even facing to the right site. When are they going to get this info? When are they going to find out what's really going on? They'll check Heaven, a close play from AJ, shuts out by Shock here, and Moopy will peek in. They'll realize now that it is the wrong site, and they're going to check both B and C. I don't know if they've got enough time for this Fickle.
Surely they don't. When the bomb went down, I don't think they could hear it, but they have to use process elimination here. They know it's not on B because they would have heard that. So it definitely has to be on C, and it honestly looks like a full save here from the Sonic side. They got an op in hand, and they use the Sage res, so really not a great use of that utility. They res on a round where they're not even trying to take back the bomb site, but I guess if you want to save your economy and your rifles, you know, that's a fair trade. But Chicago goes down. Oh, take the op, take the op, take the op, take the op. Okay, he gets the op. Thank goodness, because that would have been all for naught if he goes down in that situation. At least they got that back.
Okay. Thank God they do get that sniper in on it, because right now Soniqs are going to need as much firepower as they can get. They are running low on cash, and this buyback will leave it in an awkward start. Of course, the rifles do still come back in. And mostly Vandals on that side, with one Phantom on the back of Dapper. When it comes to Vandals for everybody on the attacking side of things. So See whether Cloud9 can utilize this appropriately. Is Fireburner getting aggressive towards the C site initially and gets a bit of early damage on towards one, the defender out there. Chicago pressing in towards mid and try firefight, excuse me, at the B ball, I should be more specific. Squishy gets that kill on Shock to kick things off for the offensive force, and Cloud9 burst into the mid-window area, might split in towards C-site, and that's exactly what they're going to do from here. Chicago playing distraction, they should be able to get the spike plant in a moment's time. It's got a safe access to the C-site, so any further kills after this, any more that Cloud9 can do, will try and hold their own, but here comes Hunter's Fury, through the wall, trying to do some damage. If the gimmick gets Dino, Dapper and Moopy will use that distraction to swing and get some more kills with 3 versus 3. And an orbital strike on site does not get any kills. The 1-for-1 trades do come through 2 versus 2. The spike plant's down.
Yeah, they got a good pincher working. I don't think they realize that Dapper is actually flanking from C long. Raiden's about to catch a hard bullet here, and he does. It's a 2v1 situation. It's only Squishy on site. Squishy takes out the player from the defensive spawn. Now it's a 1v1. Dapper and Squishy. Got the recon dart out. Shock darts are keeping him at bay. Oh, he gets spotted. That's huge. But Dapper gets the frag on him as anyway. Even with the position that he knew he was there, Dapper clutches with both kills in that post-plant situation. That's huge for the Soniqs as they steal that round away.
Well done, Dapper. Evading the information play, evading the recon dart, evading everything against the likes of Squishy. That leaves a third for the Soniqs side. They have been on the back foot for the majority of this half so far, so a little bit of a bone being thrown might not be the worst thing in the world. This moment, though, still got 3 rounds to catch up to Cloud9, and they could still do it here. 3 rounds in a row to end off the half is not the most unplausible thing in the world. But right now, plays up against the full might of Cloud9, who should be on another full buyout here. I'm seeing rifles across the board for the C9 side, and again the drones early on from Squishy to flush out the mid and window area. Look onto the C site this time as he looks for information. He's backed up by AJ, so anything around here could be traded on the drone. Indeed, they're not expecting AJ to be so close behind that piece of equipment. 2-for-1 trade as Fireburner comes in to trade out Dino as pushes them out to fall. AJ gets a 3K, and Cloud9 have claimed the C site.
That was really great utility usage and execution by AJ and Squishy, following the drone so closely that they're wasting their bullets shooting the drone, and then AJ swings out from the corner immediately after the information from Squishy. Because even if you don't ping somebody on the drone, it's basically a set of eyes. You can just call out where the players are. So it's one of my favorite abilities from Sova, and especially through the garage, it's got so many benefits. And now it's Dapper in a 1v4 situation. He's got the Vandal in hand. He's going to wait it out. Pure save situation here. Throws the camera out into mid, and we're just going to have to wait till this round is over because they're definitely going to save this rifle.
Yeah, no choice in the matter. Very similar to the C save from when they were distracted on A, except this time more on the lines of just a lack of manpower and firepower to do anything, any sort of worth in this 1v4 situation. And there you go, the attackers will take a 7th, win the half as a result as well. Dapper does get 1 exit frag on Chicago, evading the wall bangs, just barely gets out alive. There you go. A little extra rifle to work with the Sonic side, but the economy's not great. Dapper could buy a couple of upgrades for some other players if he wanted to, but it may just be best to spend only a little bit and just get them up to upgrade pistols rather than having to rely on a full-blown force buy at this moment. Because that won't be a whole lot compared to the full-blown rifles of Cloud9 at this moment. It should be seeing an 8th coming in for the offensive half, and things are looking a little bit dire for the Soniqs.
And actually, Moopy picked up a Marshall, surprisingly enough, and right out the gate, actually headshots Fireburner collateral through the B window, so that's huge for them. They take out 1 rifle with the Marshall, so that's an excellent shot there from Moopy, who was normally holding the op. So obviously they want to put him on the scoped weapon. They've taken out quite a bit of players here on the C9 side, but Squishy is returning back. Episode 6, Return of the Squishy.
That seems appropriate for Sonic's reckoning, I feel like, in this series, but Squishy is going to quickly get shut down as Dino gets his kill, falls back to a corner. Going to wait for this boombot to make his way in for the door, assuming he can get through the door at the moment. Pop out eventually and try to look for next one up, facing up, just taking that challenge, but unable to get the kill. Just the information, it does fall back for it. A 3-on-2 situation, so the Sonics have no need to over-aggress. They could just sit pretty on their defensive angles, just wait for Cloud9 to come to them. They are at the advantage on this defensive half, on this player advantage, so Just wait for the 35 seconds to tick down. Cloud9 might be able to storm the B site. I mean, their best play right now would be to go towards A. Again, talking about trying to, figure out the main undefended part of the map. And that right now is that A site play. Shock will get Chicago round the corner. Can't deny the spike plant, but will be able to get 2 kills with pistols. And Soniqs will claim a 4th on the defensive half.
That is a massive eco round, and Soniqs have a consistency of stealing rounds away from C9 in those post-plant situations, and even on this eco, they had really no reason to win this round with all the rifles in tow. And I think that Shock is trying to get this Reyna to take the defuse for the ult point, because Shock already has his loaded and ready to go. So he's going to give it over to Dino. So if you don't know, that defusing the spike actually does give you 1 ult point, so it's actually better to give it over to your friends. And here's a replay. Actually, this is going to be a nice aerial shot from our observers, just to see it in the spawn. Haven is actually, I think, one of the most beautiful maps in the beta. It's got all the flowery architectures and the old kind of oriental looking buildings. So it's kind of a zenful meditation type of vibe.
Gotta love it. And this last round of the half, Cloud9 have won it. Go up 8-4, could put them on victory row going into their defensive side. Starting to see a little bit of aggression from Soniqs, going to try and see if they can respond to Cloud9 before they can even break in. Fall back across the map here, much more spread out style from Soniqs. Usually you put those tripwires on the A entrances and rotating off the back of that to play retake there. And they're going to keep 1 player just at the main entrance just in case they need to commit to a defensive. And Cloud9 may fall right into that trap here. They're all playing their way out from A main. May just look to hold off here. They will pop that first, and now they know what's going on. They're going to face very little resistance. Dapper will get squishy as he overextends a bit too far out of this one. AJ will try to pop up a little bit of a barrier. Gimmick does get Dapper on a good kill move. He comes up from heaven and makes 3 kills happen to his own right. And the Soniqs do hold on. It seems the retake did work. They didn't even get a spike plant out of that one. And they will secure a 5th to close out their half. Soniqs with a great defensive on that last moment. Could have wished we could have seen a little bit more out of that one, but in the end, Cloud9 were exploiting the right positions and were doing well enough as you would expect on their offensive side.
Move K out of heaven, but make no mistake, it was entirely set up by Shock's ultimate as it rips through the 8 and catches 4 players from C9. They didn't even get the res off before Luby rolls into the game. But I think we're going to go into a quick little pause as we had 1 player drop out of the lobby, and we'll be able to talk a little bit about that attacking cap from C9 as we get this player back in. So 7-5 scoreline for the attacking side. C9 takes it on Haven. Now they're going to switch over to defense. I think that 7-5 is, it's like okay for attack. Like they really should have had, I think, 2 more rounds in there. They threw them away. That should be 9-3, I think. But it's not bad. It's definitely not definitive. I'd like to see more on the attacking side from Haven, but we're going to see what the Soniqs can do.
Yeah, but it's not too surprising to see the attacking half get off on the better start. Again, you're considering who Cloud9 are, the firepower that they had. The fact that Gimmick has stepped up in place of Squishy as being the top fragger as well, and Squishy's not even doing that terribly of his own right. So they've got a lot going for them on this Cloud9 side, and they're able to again find the right positions in the right places at the right time. Get the right offensives going. Those B site hits look pretty consistent from Cloud9 for my liking. And again, they sort of like anchored the A and C sites as the main rotation areas, and I kind of appreciate the way that they're going to approach that. For the attacking side, and I guess for the defensive side as well, seeing a 3-site map is so non-standard to the rest of FPS in general, or tactical FPS in general, I should say, that there's still a lot of question marks. There's still a lot of potential, I think, in that kind of a mode.
Right, and we haven't really seen as big of a pop-off from Squishy, and I think that, honestly, Moopy from the side of Soniqs has really been impressing me with his op play, especially even the Marshall as well. In that last round, he got the 3K off of that ultimate from Brimstone, so he's one of the names we didn't really mention in the previous game, but we do have the player back into the lobby, and so now we have switch side. Soniqs are on attack, and Cloud9 is going to take their turn on defense.
So we've got all 5 players accounted for, not seeing any lost motion in the server. So it looks like we will have a half on our hands. And for Cloud9 being 2 rounds in the lead, looking to try and at 2-0 their way into those grand finals. I think they're going to be NRG, if memory serves me correctly from the other stream. So opportunity presents itself for this Cloud9 side. They need to get a good pistol if they want to potentially turn us to double digits. They could very well do so off the back of that momentum. They're getting quite aggressive in the A-bomb side, a very far pushed up position, and this could be pretty big for them if they're all going to stack their way around this corner. I'm not sure who that is. Chicago getting the first kill on Shock. Should get traded back by Moopy. Squishy in the mid position. We'll get Dapper down for a decent kill, but now they're going to all rotate back to the A site. Sonic committing in the hole. They will get caught off by the tripwire. The ice comes out to try stall for a bit of time, but the spike plant should come down. They have eyes out for the moment, but Cloud9 in full retake mode, sustaining damage but keeping the advantage. Moopy's going to change that though. AJ next to fall. Dino's going to back up into the back lines and try and hold on for his own. The spike plant is not quite for him. Squish get around that corner. Dino still gets that kill. 2 on 2. Make it 1. His Gimmicks next to full. Fireburner gets us back to a single standing. Will heal up and just got to find that one player outside of. And going to tap that spike. Sticking for a few seconds. Not ready for the peak. Oh, what a shot to turn around and get it for Cloud9. The 8th and the pistol on the defensive side.
Fireburner with the flick. Dinks him in the head with the ghost. I wasn't sure the HP on the brimstone there, but excellently played on the retake there from C9 as they take the first defensive round. It's going to be huge for them going into it. We noticed that they like to buy on their defensive rounds if they got a couple of guns in, but look at this from the attacking side. I'm seeing 3 or 4 rifles from Soniqs. This is a massive bet. After losing that first round, this could shot their economy if they do not win this round.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
We've got a judge in there, I think. We've got a marshal. There's a lot, actually, of a commitment here from the Sonic side. They're going to go and commit towards a rush for this one. This is very dangerous, as Fireburner proves by getting that first pick. But Dapper gets his SMG kill on the man, and Dino follows suit on towards Gimmick, who will sustain a lot of damage, get those heals inside. The cage goes up to stop them from entering from main. Connector's also going to get blocked off, and the spike plant comes through. The Sonics may still pull this off. Cloud9, the 4-on-3 situation, further smokes out. We'll try and keep things away. Chicago moves in, going to get a lot of information out. The tripwire is forward, and he does go down for it. 1-for-1 trade again in favour of the Sonic side. Further flashes out will keep players blind. Manic sprays, headshots come through. AJ still gets a kill, but Dapper gets his triple. So it's all left to Squishy. 4 kills for Dapper. What a round from Sonics.
I don't think they actually invested in those rifles like I thought they were going to. They ended up selling them and going for Spectres and Ares, so they even made that better because they didn't have to spend as much money. I'm not really sure why maybe they decided against it at the very end. But regardless, Sonics take the round 1-1, as we saw on the attacking side from Cloud9. It's basically even going into it. This is the same scoreline we saw as Cloud9 had the attacking front.
What a shock to the system, as you mentioned. Defensive getting shut down of their own right, not a lot available. Cloud9 getting absolutely decimated at this moment in time. And a bit of aggression from Moopy. We're going out to the B entrance already, looking to check corners, check cons. Ice wall up. Well, smokes will go down instead, so they will be able to suppress any further aggressive pushes from Cloud9. Slight gap at the right-hand side of that, though. It's Shock that enters on the kill on towards Gimmick. The eye gets shattered by a good frag, and the spike plant comes through. Dapper turns around towards Squishy. Good pick for his own right, and they will just cyber cage up the mid position. Dino will get himself into position to try and kind of kill his own right. And not a whole lot will come through. They will spot the stage. Will not be able to get anything else. Just the aggression. Not really much really the defensive can really do from here, so Dino can just isolate that pick on AJ, upgrade to I think an LMG that he just picked up, but only 1 player left remaining for Cloud9. Chicago with his shotty, back up, and to save his position.
Pretty standard eco round there. Ooh, that's a nice pickup from Chicago. He's going to pick himself up an Ares. That's not the best weapon to find. If he can even hold on to it, he doesn't hold on to it, and Sonics are going to take that 2 rounds in a row on the attacking side, and again, this is a really close game, as complete opposite to the NRG and NV game on the other stream. I believe NRG took that 2-0. It was like 13 or 13-1, 13-0. Like it was kind of rough to watch. But now we have a really close game between C9 and Sonics.
Yeah, once again down to the wire. I mean, it did come through down to the wire in the second half, as opposed to the the very start of the game from that last map, where it was just within 2 rounds for almost every single round. So Cloud9 and Soniqs, this could still be much more close for a fair. But as you mentioned, game has picked up. So the rifles out to play for here. A lot of early suppression coming through from the Sonic side. They're not going to press too far forward from this. They will get the 1-for-1 trade as Squishy picks up the first and does go down on the second face. As you face out towards the garage area, it's Gimmick watching out from the mid doors. Oh, what a shot! What a prediction against Moopy, spotting him on the first peak and wall-bang headshot on the second to kill back to an advantage for Cloud9, and may even look for a little bit more. He's got a bit of support over on the C site, and not a whole lot actually to that mid position.
Wow, that was clairvoyant from Gimmick as he gets the wall bang through the garage doors. That's probably my favorite place to play. It's very satisfying whenever you're able to hit those, especially the headshot. And now they're poising over to the C site. They've actually picked a pretty good position. It's only Reyna, one person. Reyna's going to throw out Lear and ult. So from the far side, yeah, I don't think they really want to mess with that. They're going to turn tail and maybe run over the B site, where it looks like Shock has already entered into, takes out AJ, and it's actually Dino on the B site, excuse me. Now Spuda's running in with the bomb toward the B site. They're going to have Raze flanking in behind them. It's going to pause a little bit for the smoke. Chicago gesturing in from the A side. He gets spiked down, and that's huge for Cloud9, and now it's only 14 seconds left. 2v1 Shock situation. Yes.
Flash in, 2 quick kills to find. They're just going to play passive. They know exactly where he is. Just hold back behind the smokes and leave him to concede this round. Not enough time to get the spike plant. Might even get him after time as well. No cash injection, and that's a crucial kill to find again. Cloud9 utilizing every piece of info that they had, and that will throw the economy game very clearly off for the Sonics side. I mean, they can still go for a forced investment, and it looks like that's what they're going to commit to here. But some players will be pretty limited on what they can buy, especially Spuda. 2600, you've got to go for an SMG above a rifle, so everybody else, fortunately, looks to have Vandals on their side. So it's not the worst buy in the world, but with Vandals the same, Phantom's out for 2, and AJ yet to buy has a couple of options ahead of him. Right now, it's looking much better for Cloud9 in the setup.
It's actually Dino that's really been the one to watch on the Sonic side. Ultimate Fury is going to rip through the garage, and he's going to find Spuda through there, but he actually doesn't catch Dino, who's already really far into the C site, and there's a lot of action going on in this round number 17.
Spotting info again to the C site. Shock does get Gimmick, so Sonics can force the issue. They've left one player isolated to the C site, and Chicago goes down just as quickly, so now suddenly it's one player left. And again, the Sonics aggression seems to work pretty well. AJ does come in with 2 good picks, though. Very low HP, can get the heal on, and then the garage area, they now know where he's at. We'll try and stall for a bit of time with the ice around the corner. Spike's been dropped, and how is AJ going to deal with his 17 HP? He actually gets a revive in on Fireburner. That's a pretty big opportunity now. A 2-on-2 retake with the spike plant coming in for the Sonics. AJ will be first contact. 17 HP. Fireburner taking a fight, which won't quite win, won't quite lose. Good tag off on Dino, but all in all, it's going to be left to 2-1. And a 1 versus 2. 2 very high HP players to find here. Fireburner has been able to get some decent frags in this one. Dapper instantly shuts down his eye, and it will be Dapper with that final kill as well. So Sonics secure the situation. A good counterplay there from AJ, but just not enough in the tank.
Herculean effort from AJ, peeking out the garage door to deny the spike plant and get a 2K, but unfortunately he was not able to turn that around. They were already 2 into the C site. Dapper had put down the tripwires on the back of spawn side, so it made it impossible for Fireburner, even though he got res, to come back in. Throws the Lear onto site, instantly gets taken down, and it's hard to deal with that once you get the tripwires in place. So it's just really good securing of site from the Sonic side, an 8-9 scoreline, and they've got rifles in hand. So we're maybe going to see a 9-9 scoreline very soon.
Information denial here from the Sonic side, and as you mentioned, not a lot that can come through from defensive sides. Cloud9 staying on just that half-buy scenario with their shotties and SMGs. Getting information out here. These two players out to this corner. Oh, this could be pretty big if they don't fire. If they hold trigger discipline, no. That's one kill.
Oh
the
my
shot
God.
choice. Oh my goodness, one kill found. Can he get any more out of this? Chicago has denied the spike position, but does find at least a kill on a trade, and that will force them to keep their heads on a swivel for the moment here. Chicago looking for info. Dapper does get squishy next on the site defensive, and Fireburner will get one good kill. To get away with a rifle, maybe their best case scenario, though. So a good effort on the backstab. Soniqs not checking all their angles and will pay for it, but it won't be a massive cost.
Big brain to bait that member of Cloud9 just so that Chicago could swing. They like, that's one of those situations like, why are there two there? Why would you do that? But obviously it's working out because this is a winnable round here for C9. They've got 2 rifles even if they didn't invest in this round. So even if they can't take this round, it's still a great investment to the economy taken away from Soniqs. Neural theft comes out. Chicago's coming in. Shock is hiding in sewers. He's going to rip that ultimate right on the bomb plant. Takes down one. Ooh, there's not going to be enough time here. I don't think he's going to get away with his rifle, but that was a checkmate from Shock. Just holding that in sewers with his ultimate. If you even try to defuse with that, it's going to knock you off of it. So even after all that shenanigans coming out, Sonic still takes the round, but that was really, really good try from C9.
I'm surprised they went for it, honestly. But I mean, it does do a lot of damage, and they didn't have a lot to lose. To hold on to those 2 rifles into the next round, I mean, gonna have a buy here anyway, so it's respectable. And that may force the issue on the Soniqs buy here. I mean, they will get us back to evens, but maybe seeing some lacking rifles, they will pick up one on one of the low buy players. I believe there was a Bulldog being recovered. Info just looking to try and come out here very early on. He sprays through the mid doors and the... Oh, Strike will try to drive them away from the window area. That will be successful. Still playing pretty close, though. Could be in with a couple of decent picks. Cybercage goes up, and it looks like they're going to enter into the C site once again. Very early on. Ultimate's coming out left, right, and center. Dapper's going to rape around the corner. Try look for one. Shock is the first player to go down. Dapper taps through, gets fire. Squishy able to return to a 4-on-3 scenario. They do have the C site. They can get the spike plant. You got the Cloud9 for the retake.
This is that attacking favored side I was talking about on Haven. Even though Soniqs were trailing at the half, they're really resurging here on their attacking side, able to get 3-4 in a row. Another favorable position for them for the retake. Now they have the man equal advantage. Nice kill from Moopy on the defensive spawn, and now it's just left to Moopy, and a nice retake here from C9. They turn that into a win for them, stealing the round away. They should be able to take this, pick up the rifles, and be on their merry way. Soniqs, their streak will get shut down by C9, and now C9 has entered into double digits. This is still insanely close.
The Soniqs just can't quite seem to push over the edge and get that lead above the Cloud9 side. So the revives coming in, of course, will look very weak in for the Sonic squad, but they have done, you know, so much with so little at times. They have got rifles to play with. I don't know if Dapper and Spuddo are going to upgrade in this one. I mean, they've got a little bit of potential, so yeah, one SMG will come out. The second one's also brought down, so... Automatics cross the board. Let's see if Soniqs can claim the lead away from Cloud9. They've been struggling so hard to do so. They've got a lot of aggression coming in towards the A main and A short positions. Very carefully, Soniqs are going to creep around this. You know, they've gone for the very fast sort of rounds, they've gone for the very slow sort of rounds, and ideally they're looking for Cloud9 to over-aggress so they can get a pick or just force the issue and open things up in one of these choke points.
Near used out to the mid side. Seems like down a lurking on C long here. Only with a Spectre, it's kind of risky to peek that long angle with only a Spectre. You don't really have a lot of killing potential there. But he's just going to lurk and just probably watch for flanks. He's really listening, not really looking. Pushing a little bit forward, and they kind of split Gimmick with a nice pick on Dino on A long. One greedily grabbed the ult point, and the paint shell at the exact wrong time is going to leave Buddha to take him down on A short. Here comes Moopy into the site. Now we got 3 Sonic members on site, and the spike to boot. Spike is going to get planted, but the rotation coming in from C9. Oh, deny on the res. That's huge, and that's going to be 2 kills for AJ, and this is a very doable situation for Cloud9.
Bad timing. We've got the Empress coming out for the retake. Squishy going to try and look for info on the recon dart. They'll see one sight. AJ gets one, turns around with a spray to the second. He's got a 4K on for the ace. Going to stick the defusal. There'll be a flank coming through.
AJ.
Dapper gets that one pick. AJ with a chance. Playing Ring of Roses round the boxes. Tapped it. Not going to go for the second. Going to try and hunt very quickly around his corner. And then AJ's got a full-blown ace for Cloud9. 11 on the defensive side. That retake couldn't have been played more to perfection if you tried.
Woo! AJ with the ace. Our first ace of the day, I believe. And really starting it off right with denying the revive on A long. That's really what set it off there and just gets entry on the site. Squishy with the assist on the recon dart makes it really easy for him to pick off the player near the plant box and underneath heaven. And then just, I don't know, I think it was a little bit of a misplay from that last player from Soniqs not to delay a little bit more, because if they maybe wasted like 3 or 4 seconds more, they could have at least won the round, but still got an ace. I don't know. AJ doing everything right in that situation. Can't take much away from him.
Look at this very fast play coming out from the Sonic side. They're going to try and over-aggress once again what they've got. First kill for Dapper. Dino going to play support. Gimmicks in the corner will get that one kill. And he actually gets himself 3 all in. All tapped up for Moopy. Will trade back on Squishy, but Fireburner's going to get Dapper, so it leaves it all to Moopy left alone. That mid-control play going so disastrously for Soniqs. Strike's been dropped. It's in Cloud9 control. Moopy will isolate one good pick. Got to heal up in a moment here. And so much for him to do at this moment. Got a second player, the 1v1 to isolate around this corner. No armor, and back's turn. Gonna check that right-hand position. It all comes up to timing, and he gets a second kill. Moopy still got a chance. 50 seconds. He's got pick of the litter for the sides. And are they gonna aggress back through that window area?
Well, they got to pick up the spike outside of garage first, and Moopy has a really good positioning here to be able to at least listen for this. All comes down to it. They still got a lot of time left here. 33 seconds. I think they got to move about 20 if they want to have any chance of getting to a bomb site after picking up the spike. But look at this flank situation here from, I believe that is going to be Dapper on the Cypher. So he's flanking around the backside. 15 seconds. I think the bomb plant is out of the question for A. He can still go to C or B, and he's just going to run it over to C. Surely he hears these footsteps from there. He's going to hear the plant go down. Post-plant situation underway.
Here we go. Both players going to face in the same position. All down to timing, and it's going to go the way of Dapper instead. Good effort not to be in the end. Chicago, I should say. Wow. Get confused with those 1v1's positions, but Cloud9 will be up with the 12th.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Great
it was actually
retake.
Cypher on the Sonic side is Dapper, and on C9 side it's Chicago. We lost a little bit of that info on there, but well played to Chicago for being patient on that. Didn't have to aggress it. He knew that the spike was the ultimate the spike is the win condition. Very important point in Valorant. Don't always have to chase for the kills. But map and match point for C9 here on Haven, as they just need one more round to close it out against the Sonics and move on to play against NRG in the finals.
It's our turn.
Now 12-9, Cloud9. Currently on map and match point here. If they can win this next round, it will be over. The Sonics will not be making their way into those grand finals. We're seeing orbital strikes come down early.
God.
Oh, Gimmick! Wrecks everybody! AJ finishing off Dapper, and just like that, Cloud9 in an instant are going to get the victory. Oh my me, oh my, what happened there?
Raise happened.
Yeah, you think? Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. I am in disbelief. Wow. That's how we end it. Gimmick with the 3K on one showstopper. Such a close map to be ended on that. Oh my god.
You kind of hoped for a bit of a back and forth, didn't you? Like, just like hoping there would be some sort of default strategic play, but no, just rush, get the kills, use the ultimate, and just absolutely decimate. I mean, What more do you say to that? I guess it's kind of appropriate that Cloud9 are the ones that dominate on their offensive to regain control of this map overall. But as you said, it was a bit of a close affair from the word go. I think for the first time in this series, we saw separation in more than 4 rounds. So credit to the Soniqs, but also credit to Cloud9. They really dominated at certain points in that match.
Oh, man. Just, I still cannot recover from that last round we had there. But I think we're going to see the play here from Sova, Drone, AJ walking into the site, picks up 2K on that one. And I think we're going to see AJ's ace as well. So here's the 3rd kill, 4th kill, nice spray transfer to get that. And here's the ring around the rosy to go into it. So very nice played from AJ, who I think pretty much carried the last rounds of that match.
Absolutely. AJ certainly was the one to step up. When everyone had their eyes on Squishy, I don't know whether to call it disappointing or whether just to admit that he managed to do some really good work in sort of spreading the love, I guess you could say, in certain points, where you can see how that round sort of ended from our own context. So just keep your eyes on how well they positioned themselves and how they played. Gimmick just absolutely destroying everybody with that rocket. That is something else. The showstopper is... I mean, it is for Gimmick. It is not for the Soniqs side. They got absolutely decimated by 1 bullet, and that ends it all off on their own right. 13-9 for Cloud9, and a 2-0 series. They're going to the finals here, Fickle.
Yeah, and what a way to end it as well. That was probably way closer of a game than we saw between NRG and Envy on the other side of the bracket over in Giant Slayer TV. And that was a 13-0 and a 13-1, I believe, all on the backs of... I was seeing some chatter in our chat right here about Classics really popping off, and I think he's doing quite well for himself in the game of Valorant. But we also had one more person watching that match, and that's Unthink. So we're going to bring him back in to have us talk about that anticlimactic finish.
Anticlimactic? That was the exciting finish you want to see. Listen, I know abilities aren't always supposed to kill, but sometimes they're supposed to kill. Fantastic game here. Congratulations to C9 moving forward here in the round. This was an incredible match. So we got to see a very even first half, as well as the second half also being fairly close there. I think you guys said it best. AJ definitely carried away to bring it to victory here at the end of the day here for Cloud9. But stepping back, Jay, a 7-5 half is by no means definitive for an attacking team on Haven to take the first half of this game in what we would call an overwhelming victory. Did C9 give themselves enough margin for victory in the first half, or did they really need to turn it on in the second half to make this happen?
I think that they did, I mean, based on the fact that they didn't go very far, didn't go much further with their 4 rounds on the attacking side. The Soniqs really had a bit of a hard time again dealing with a lot of the retakes and the defensive positions and the firepower, especially from Cloud9. And I think that that's kind of really what got them at the end of the day. Like, Soniqs had some really good ideas, and again, sort of seeing how they played out their defensive half, they went for a lot of rushes that shouldn't be successful. They absolutely were, and Cloud9 kind of got caught off guard in their own respect. But the fact that they were able to utilize their own firepower on the defensive side as well, the fact they were able to do some really good sort of stuff of their own right when they switched to that second half, it really proves that they did give themselves enough margin of error. Under normal circumstances, I'd say no. 7-5 is a very bad scoreline from an attacking side. But for Cloud9, in the way that they played in this matchup, it was absolutely perfect.
And speaking of those rushes, right, we started seeing DPS-heavy agents making bigger waves in the first half than we did previously. Talking through map 1, we got to see a lot more from Gimmick playing as Raze, and we got to see a lot more from Dino, especially in this map as Reyna. As players have started testing their opponents in these blind matches, Fickle, did we anticipate this coming into map 2? Did we see a little bit more coming from the DPS players?
So actually, if we look at the score line, it was Dino and Cypher, Dapper, excuse me, Dino and Dapper
combo.
Top fragging on the Sonic side and Dino on Reyna. But it was actually AJ on C9 side with 22, who's on Sage. Right. Really not really an aggressive operator, but I think Dino was a lot more comfortable in that matchup once he got into the first match, because even if you're playing just kind of for funsies, there's a prize on the line, it's still hard to shake off those first map jitters if you're being streamed like this. And I think that really aggressive players get more comfortable as the match goes on. So that's why you'll see people like Reyna and even Gimmick doing a little bit better in map number 2, because they're getting more confident and they know their aim is actually where it's supposed to be, not jittery, kind of how they're feeling.
Makes sense. Get the first match jitters out of the way, come in, nothing but headshots. So we saw several pivotal plays and moments throughout this entire game too. I'll start here with Jay. Did any player truly stand out as you looked at the match and really thinking about who's going to be matching up against NRG? Did we see anything particularly out of C9 that you'd like to highlight?
Well, obviously, Squishy was a lot less prominent in this matchup, and that's absolutely fine. He was able to spread the kills between Gimmick and AJ, so those guys certainly are the guys that I would highlight. I think AJ especially, because towards the end of the game he was popping off. He was getting clutch attempts in. He got his ace, obviously, in that retake scenario. Several key revives as well that turned the tides and did the damage to the Soniqs, at the very least, if not got them the rounds at a major disadvantage situation. So for me, AJ's got to be my guy. I really appreciated the way that he played in that one. Stepping up in positions. And really doing a good job.
Having a Sage who can play extraordinarily well with the team is one thing. Having a Sage who can play extremely well with the team and dominate in kills, that's something special that you want to be able to bring to the table here. So absolutely, AJ playing after that ace, playing after several strong plays with Squishy, certainly a dominant player coming out of that Haven matchup. Fickle, anyone you'd like to highlight coming out of Sonic or Sonics?
Out of the Sonics, I think it was really Reyna. It was the Dino coming out and being and taking a lot of peeks coming out, especially out of the garage. Like he was not afraid at all to just run head first, because that's what you have to that player. And if you're not doing things like that, playing a duelist, then you're actually not helping your team, because it's okay if you go down as the entry, because you're at least providing information, and that's what your role is supposed to do. You're providing pretty much no utility if you just kind of sit back and wait for them to push it on you. So if you play Jet, Phoenix, Ray, you really need to be going in first and not be afraid to die.
Yeah, so fantastic match. Congratulations to C9, of course, and also a big thanks to Soniqs for coming out and playing this one in the semifinals. We're going to jump to the grand finals now of Giant Slayer Spy Crush on Rival Esports. We're going to pop that over to the Giant Slayer stream, so stick with us. We'll take you on this journey. Folks, $1,000 on the line of the grand finals, so do not miss it. Thank you, my wonderful casters, for joining me today, and we'll be jumping on to the next match for the grand finals in just a second. This has been Giant Slayer Spy Crush on Rival Esports.